Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Jonny Walker here, aka Dr. Jonathan Withanachi, endodontist, turned real estate and alternative investment fund manager. Here's a question a lot of people have been asking me. Dr. Jonny, what does the fund actually look like behind the scenes? So today, I'm pulling back the curtain and giving you a quick tour of the Walk of Wealth Capital Fund. Of course, I'll be blurring out investor names and any personal information. But what I really want you to see here is how the fund works. What is the fund? The real dashboard, the distributions, the reporting, how everything works. Because if you're a dentist and you want to start investing in these things, I think this is basic information that you need to know. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a username and password. Now, we already done that, so we can just quickly log right in. Now, before I dive in, let me explain exactly what a fund actually is. Now, a fund simply means that instead of putting your money into one building or one piece of real estate, you're investing into a vehicle where multiple people are pooling their capital. And then once this fund, the fund manager identifies a deal that, in our case, Walk of Wealth Capital, is deals that we're looking at. We vet them, we run our due diligence, and once we've approved a deal and we're like, hey, look, this deal is really exciting, this is a deal we want to bring in front of our investors, then we're going to usually add it into a fund software just like this one. And then what happens is, as an investor, you will get a choice, because we have a very advanced fund called a flex fund, where you don't just invest in everything that the fund invests, but you get to actually pick and choose which of these investments fit your criteria. And as a result, you get to work with a bunch of other people that are also pooling capital within this same fund, so that you can partner and work together to invest in a deal that you may not be able to do by yourself. It gives you instant diversification. It gives you exposure to multiple income streams, multiple asset classes, all by signing up to invest into this fund. Again, you don't invest into every single deal that the fund does. You get to pick and choose which deals make sense for you. Now, let me show you what that looks like. Now, you'll see here, we have the fund dashboard. Now, I'm going to go to the fund dashboard, and this is the total fund. So now within this fund, this particular fund, like we have 8 different funds. I just chose this one. This is the one that our mastermind group, our Walk of Wealth mastermind group, most of these deals are done within this fund here. Now, within this fund, you can see that there are a total of 40 members, right? Cumulatively, there's been $2.949 million invested into this fund, right? With an average account size of $75,000. And within this fund, we've invested in multifamily deals. We've invested in self-storage deals. We've invested in private equity deals. The only deals that we don't put into this particular fund, and we do it in a separate fund, are our oil and gas deals. Now, the other thing that I want to show here is that this fund has now distributed over $110,000 in the last year and a half, and most of this has gone directly to Walk of Wealth Mastermind members. Now, this 2.9 million has distributed $110,000. Now, you got to remember, some of these deals, there's multiple different deals within the same fund, and these deals have different start dates, different end dates, different waiting periods before distributions start. But overall, we've distributed over $110,000 in about the last about 18 months. All right, now let's talk about distributions. This is the part everyone gets excited about. This is the part that also everybody asks me about, right? A distribution is, hey, when am I going to get paid? When am I getting my pieces of cash flow? Well, right here, you can see the monthly distributions. Now, this particular investor has invested close to $300,000 into this fund. And he's earned about $11,000 in cash flows, right? So he's bought about $11,000, and he has about $1,900 of available cash. Now, the reason is that because he's been slowly withdrawing the money, right? So This is the expense reserve balance as well as fees reserve balance. These are expenses that are incurred by the fund, and we take a small amount of distributions and put it into the expense reserve. That way the investors, any expenses that are charged at the fund level are taken from these reserve balances. Now over here on the right side, you can see that his available cash balance is $1,900 because he's withdrawn $8,000. So the money is distributed within the fund. So now he's earned $11,000 and he's already withdrawn $8,000 from this fund, and he has a remaining balance of $1,900 left into the account. So he's been taking advantage of removing the cash flow, and presumably he's investing it into his next deal. So from here, we can see if we click on investments, now we can see this particular investor has three separate investments. One is Rise Gateway. This is a multifamily deal where he invested $98,000 back in November 18th of 2024. Up to this point, that his investment has returned about $4,300, which is about 4.39%. This is also a multifamily deal with the same operator, invested $100,000 in May 17th of 2024. This was the very first deal in this fund. And so far, that investment has paid out about $7,100. And then the third investment, Whispering Winds, which at the time of this recording just closed about a week ago, he invested $98,000, funding date 11/24, which was, like I said, just a couple of weeks ago. This one hasn't started distributing yet, but the deal was just done. This deal is expected to start monthly distributions in January or next month. So then we'll slowly start to see as the cash flows come in from this deal, we'll start to see it appear here. So very clean, very concisely, this investor can see exactly how much money is invested into each deal and how much each of these deals have paid off so far. If you click on this transactions tab, if you go down on this same investor, you can see, let's click on earnings here. Now on the earnings sections, you can see this is how he's been getting his distributions. Now he's received almost $12,000 of completely passive distributions from this deal. As you can see, he's getting per month in the month of December, he got about close to $800. In November, about $800. So with these two of the investments are paying him close to $800 a month. His third investment, once that starts paying off, his monthly cash flows will increase. And then instead of getting 2 entries per month, he'll start getting 3 entries per month. So like that, you can slowly start building the income streams from different investments within the fund. Now, this is real, predictable, passive income being paid out every single month. No tenants, no toilets, no emergencies, just straight income from real estate in a passive way. Now, there's a lot of dentists that casual critics that have never actually invested in real estate. They say there's no such thing as passive investing in real estate. Some people say that, and then there's others like us that actually get passive income from real estate. This is very clear, very, very easy to see. You can see from this investor dashboard, it shows you everything that you want to see from an investor standpoint. There's no digging through emails, no going through spreadsheets, no clutter. Just clean, transparent reporting, right? Everything is organized and in one place. You can see exactly what is happening with each one of your investments. All right, let's take a look at one more investor in this deal. Now, this particular investor, he's invested a total of $137,000. He's earned about $6,700 in passive income, and he has $5,500 of cash balance available. So this $5,500, he can withdraw from the fund at any time. If you look on the right side here, this is another dashboard of the same thing. He's done now, with this $137,000, he's invested in 4 different deals. To see his deals that he's invested, we simply click on investments, and you can see he's invested in 4 different deals. In this medical triple net real estate deal, he invested $35,000. In this self-storage deal, he's invested $23,000. In this multifamily deal, he's invested $24,000. And in the PAVE, which is a private equity investment, he's invested $49,000. To date, you can see his earnings. Right? He's getting monthly distributions from all 4 of these deals. And now he's received 2.7% on the medical triple net real estate deal, which was just done earlier this year. He's got almost 8% on the self-storage deal. He's got close to 4.4% on the multifamily deal. And he's received about 6% on the private equity deal. Now, within this fund, This investor has 4 different deals, 4 different streams of income in 4 different asset classes. First one is medical, triple net medical real estate, which is non-correlated to self-storage in Iowa, which is not correlated to multifamily real estate in Dallas, Texas, which is also not correlated to private equity deal, which is investing in infrastructure projects in Utah and Arizona. So as you can see, he has a well-diversified investment base where he's getting income streams from different asset classes, different commercial real estate, different private equity deals that gives him true diversification, gives him multiple streams of income that are not correlated to each other. And this is a nice, neat place where he can keep track of everything. His transactions, if we click on earnings, we can see how his distributions are working. Now, this particular investor, let's take November. In November, he got 3 distributions. October, he got 4 distributions. So far in December, we're only 6 days into the month at the time of the recording. He's already received 2 distributions. As you can see, when you invest in the Walk of Wealth Capital Fund, the experience is incredibly simple. You log in, and you can see your investments, your contributions, your distributions, your reporting, your tax documents, and the real-time performance of the fund. Now, this is truly passive investing. Our team at Walk of Wealth Capital handles sourcing the deals, vetting the deals, completing the due diligence, communicating with the operator, asset management. And you as an investor within our fund simply get to make the investment, receive income, updates, and hopefully a big return at the end of the deal. Now, why am I making this video? Well, I'm making this video because transparency matters to me. And honesty and transparency are ingredients for long-term success. I grew up in a poor immigrant household with nothing. I built everything that I've earned in my life and my career through education, hard work, and learning from people who had gone further. So I believe in showing you what this actually looked like. It's not hype, it's not theory, just the real thing. Now, if you're curious about how this works, or you want to learn more about passive investing and building real streams of income, you can visit our website, www.walkofwealth.com. That's in the description below. And if you want to get access to this fund so you can play around, see how it works, look at the investments in there, the link for our fund, Walk of Wealth Capital Fund, is also in the description below. And if you're like, hey, Doc, all this sounds good, I just need to talk to somebody so I can see if this is a good fit for me, or I need to help building a strategy, well, there's a link in the description for that too, so you can schedule a call with myself or one of my helpful teammates. And I invite you to do that, and we're gonna walk you through the strategy, and you can decide whether this is a good fit for your goal. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this gave you a helpful look behind the scenes.